A number of people asked me about my review of Ayaan Hirsi Ali's book, The Gadfly, and really more broadly about my perceptions of Islam, especially vis-a-vis the role of women. I tend to think that Islam is a little bit like the proverbial elephant that the blind man touch, and it really depends on what part you encounter in terms of what frames your view of Islam as a whole. You know, if you go to Yemen, Afghanistan, the tribal areas in Pakistan, then you see Islam as the justification for women not being sent to school, for not being allowed often out of the house without their husband's permission, for all kinds of, for child marriage, for all kinds of behaviors that we truly regard as barbaric. On the other hand, if you go to Bangladesh, for example, then you see a country where there are now more girls in high school than there are boys. You go to Indonesia, which has had a woman president, and it seems to me that my reading of history is that when the Prophet Muhammad arrived on the scene, he had quite liberated views about the role of women, but then it equally seems to me that in subsequent centuries you had much more conservative outlooks on the role of women become ossified, and that indeed you had this sanctified notion of women as subordinates that became ossified in much of the Islamic world, and more conservative parts are still having to deal with that. But I think it's really dangerous to make generalizations about a religion as vast and disparate as Islam is today.